Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for over 40 years. I'm going through the text this year, again, asking Jesus to clarify for me, and then I write from that clarity, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. We're reading from A Course in Miracles, Chapter 8, Section 9, Healing as Corrected Perception, paragraphs 1 and 2. So paragraph 1 says, I said before that the Holy Spirit is the answer. He is the answer to everything. And he's putting that answer as a capital A. So he is the answer to everything because he knows what the answer to everything is. The ego does not know what a real question is, although it asks an endless number. Yet you can learn this as you learn to question the value of the ego and thus establish your ability to evaluate its questions. When the ego tempts you to sickness, do not ask the Holy Spirit to heal the body, for this would merely be to accept the ego's belief that the body is a proper aim of healing. Ask rather that the Holy Spirit teach you the right perception of the body, for perception alone can be distorted. Only perception can be sick because only perception can be wrong. It seems that I can hardly write this morning. I am so something. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel peaceful and happy and something else. And I just want to sit here and stare at these words and feel gratitude. Then I notice a thought that I wonder if I'm being judged by someone I know, and the thought that some other person is not what he pretends to be. I know that this is the mind that desires the ego's separate self, trying to reestablish dominance in my mind through judgment. Then I notice thoughts about the past, and I recognize this is more of the same. The ego mind perpetuates itself through recreating the past in the present and then projecting it into the future. At first, I felt anxious and afraid because I remember how easy it is to follow these mental paths. And I don't want to lose what I have this morning. But then I remember that I choose moment to moment what I will experience. I let go of the fear, and everything rights itself. The questions were not in words this morning, but if I had expressed them that way, the question might have been, how can I sustain the beauty of this perfect moment? If there were a question at all. The ego doesn't answer questions, it simply reinforces guilt so as to reinforce itself. When I questioned the ego thoughts, I was asking Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit always answers. It reminded me of what I am, and peace was reestablished. All of this without words, but very clear nonetheless. I absolutely understand and fully accept that the body is not the source of illness, so it makes no sense to ask that it be healed. I ask instead that my mind be healed of the sick thoughts that I have projected onto the body. That is the same thing as asking that my perception of the body be corrected. One time when I was getting ready to attend a workshop, I had an opportunity to practice this. I noticed that I had a cyst and that I seemed to be getting congested, and I recognized this as resistance. I did not try to figure out what in my environment caused these problems and what medicines I needed to take. So I just asked that my mind be healed of the anxiety I was feeling about the upcoming trip. The symptoms vanished overnight. Here is something that used to confuse me. Serious symptoms seemed different to me than mild symptoms. I would let fear of the symptoms cause me to look outward for the cause and for relief. The truth became apparent to me as I continued to work with the idea of suffering, pain, and sickness. Over and over, I proved to myself that the cause was in my mind. Therefore, the solution must also be in my mind. As I've mentioned before, I use magic if I'm unable to detach from the fear of the sickness enough to allow healing. I'm not guilty of that. It's just where I am at the moment and something to take to spirit for correction. So paragraph 2 says, Wrong perception is a wish that things be as they are not. The reality of everything is totally harmless because total harmlessness is a condition of its reality. It is also the condition of your awareness of its reality. You do not have to seek reality. It will seek you and find you when you meet its conditions. Its conditions are part of what it is, and this part only is up to you. The rest is of itself. You need do so little because your little part is so powerful that it will bring the whole to you. Accept then your little part and let the whole be yours. I used to misunderstand the first sentence that says a wrong perception is a desire to see things. Sorry, let me say that again. I used to misunderstand the first sentence. It says a wrong perception is a desire for things to be as they are not. I thought that meant I should surrender to my story, but now I see it differently. Now I understand that it was my desire for things to be as they are not that made the story. If the story of Myron is anything but joyful and peaceful, then it is witness to my desire for separation. It is my wish that things be as they are not. Without my desire for separation, the world is harmless. And in its harmlessness, I abide as a Christ. What a wonderful thing that is. I do have periods of time when I am at perfect peace, when joy is my being. As my mind heals, those times are expanding. I would walk this earth as the awakened Christ, and why shouldn't I? It is my very nature and will arise in me as soon as I stop repressing it. My very little and very powerful part is to desire awakening more than I desire the dream, until I finally desire it wholly. I, as Christ, chose a separation experience through the power of my holy self, the power I inherited from my Father and my creation. Now that I've allowed myself to remember I did this, allowing reality to return to my mind feels effortless. That is, until I run into something in my story that feels valuable to me. But even then, I remain the one who chooses, and so I choose to let it go as quickly as I'm able. I love this. You do not have to seek reality. It will seek you and find you when you meet its conditions. My part is small but powerful. I only need to notice that it is in my mind that what it is in my mind that prevents reality, and give those thoughts and beliefs to the Holy Spirit. I cannot say that this is hard or complicated. It is simple. And when it feels hard, it is only because I don't want to give it over. But as I continue the process with vigilance and consistency, I have seen that I can change my mind, and quite easily. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And thanks so much for being here. I'll be back soon with another reading. See you then.